Listener-supported St. Gabriel Catholic Radio AM 820 brings you Family Sanctuary, a show that inspires living the gospel message in word and deed within our families. And now, Family Sanctuary with host Peggy Hartshorn.
Welcome to the Family Sanctuary, focusing on life-giving relationships and the family. I'm your host, Peggy Hartshorn, with Heartbeat International, that advances life-affirming pregnancy help around the world. Today, we have a very special program for you because our guest is Dr. Ray Guarendi. And I hope you're as big a fan as I am of Dr. Ray and his program, The Doctor is In. Good morning, Dr. Ray.
Hey, Peggy, how are you?
I'm so good, and I'm just so pleased that you're on the program. I'm so excited about it, and I love the topic that we're going to be talking about, which is loving those closest to you. And what a challenge, since our program is about life-giving relationships and the family. We know that sometimes the family is one of those places and people in the family that it's sometimes difficult to be loving. We know we love them, but it's sometimes difficult to be loving. So we're really excited for your program today. For our listeners, let me just give a little bio on Dr. Ray. Dr. Ray Guarendi, in case you've been living in a cave and you don't know Dr. Ray, he's a Catholic husband, father to 10 adopted children, clinical psychologist, author of over 20 books, a professional speaker, international radio and television host. And for over 40 years, Dr. Ray's in-depth experience has led to helping thousands eliminate parenting frustrations and build stronger marriages by showing them proven parenting techniques and following their God-given instincts to raise their kids for heaven. So I'm a big fan of his radio show, The Doctor is In, on EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network and right here at St. Gabriel. And also you can find that program, though, on Sirius XM, iHeartRadio, and over 500 domestic and international AM and FM radio affiliates. And his TV show, Living Right with Dr. Ray, can be seen on EWTN. So thank you so much, Dr. Ray, for taking time to be with our audience here at St. Gabriel Radio. And let's get right into it because this is, I think, a really important topic for all of us, loving those closest to you. So, Dr. Ray, how do we even jump into something like that?
Peggy, I am 99.999999% loving.
Oh, of course.
Because nobody in China, nobody in India, nobody in Africa, nobody in Europe, nobody in Asia, do I have any ill will toward. I have no problems with any of them.
Right.
They're fine. It's just those 5 or 6 people that are in my life every day or every week or even once a month. It's not even the lady down the street, 7 doors down. She's a curmudgeon, but all I have to do is go by and wave at her and keep driving. That's it. But
right.
It's that close inner circle that can bring out my worst. Mm-hmm. So there you have it. By the numbers, I'm incredibly loving. But if you go by interaction, I got to work on it.
Right. I know sometimes my husband has said to me, do you talk to people that you work with like that?
Oh,
he gets me in a bad
rough.
moment. He gets me. Well, sometimes it's more than a moment, but yeah, I can relate. Thank you, Dr. Ray, for that. Yes.
Oh, my. So what is it, Peggy? What is it about the people closest to us that do this?
Mm-hmm.
How do they have this kind of power?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Bring out the worst in us occasionally, right?
I would have to say, if you could eliminate my conduct towards, say, 3 people, that's it. I'll pick 3. If you eliminate my conduct towards 3 people, I'd have like 70% less social sins to confess in confession.
Yes, I can relate. I can relate to that.
There's a simple law here, Peggy, and that's the law. I call it the law of social proximity. Those closest to us have the the power to bring out our irritation, our frustration, our snarkiness, our detraction, our inability to float with something they say, those closest to us. Why? Well, I think there's two reasons. One, our emotions are wrapped around them. That's the way it is. My emotions is not wrapped around the lady 7 doors down. It's not wrapped around the mail carrier. Mail carrier comes to my mailbox, puts the mail in. I go, hey, how you doing? Oh, good. You? Yeah, good day. Thanks. And that's it. So there's no emotions involved there. But my boss or my brother or even my spouse, they have pull on me. They truly do. So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is sheer numbers. The mail carrier, at most, if I bump into him or her once or twice a week, okay. Once or twice a week for maybe 10, 12 seconds. But my brother, my mother-in-law, my cousin, my boss, if you totaled up the amount of time that I spend interacting with them, it could be 20, 25% of my interpersonal time. So raw numbers, there's going to be more chances for friction. Just the way it is. You can't defeat the numbers. Okay, so if you live with somebody, your spouse, and that's the number one person you probably have the most contact with, okay, then it's automatic. There's going to be words used, there's going to be emotions, there's going to be moodiness, there's going to be the stuff of humanity that rubs up against the other person. And when you got those numbers, now you have to work on the whole idea of, I got to get along with you somehow better than I do.
Right. That makes me feel better. The numbers indicate that with all the contact that my husband and I have day in and day out, and as you say, it could be your sister, your brother, one of your children perhaps, we see them so often, we're with them so often that chances are they're going to see the worst side of ourselves occasionally, when we certainly don't intend that, but that's what happens.
You know, the number one reason that I can get upset at somebody else is because I personalize their behavior. For example, if my mother-in-law is going to make comments, snarky comment number 107, since I've known her, about our child rearing or our parenting or our religion or our politics, whatever it is, I believe then she's attacking me personally. How dare she do that? I don't do that to her. You would think my wife's mother would be a nicer person. What is it with her? So see, what we do is we immediately personalize it. Okay? They are insulting me. They are hurting me. They are neglecting my feelings. They are ignoring what I think about things. They are devaluing my opinion. What we do is, instead of saying, she's a pretty unhappy person, she is the kind of individual that just, geez, she does this to about everybody. The way she is. It's who she is. No, I don't do that. I say, I don't deserve that. Once I do that, Peggy, I do that, I'm prickly. I'm on the lookout. I'm hypervigilant for the next remark that's going to come out of her mouth. And just when I think I've gotten over the last one, here comes another one. So that's the first thing. When you're going to get along with somebody, you got to quit personalizing it. You got to look at it like they're that way. That's who they are. Maybe they don't like me. I don't know what their motive is, but I'm not going to immediately personalize it as though they have some kind of drive to make me feel bad or to put me down.
So
personalizing is huge.
You try to
think, Peggy, it's one time so fascinating illustration. There was a fella who committed an egregious crime against a little girl. Terrible crime. And he was on trial, and the death penalty was being bandied about. A whole bunch of folks were outside protesting against him getting the death penalty. When he came out of the courthouse, he looked at them, and he waved at them with his middle finger. At that point, you should have seen their reaction. That did it. That's enough. Fry him. That's the kind of guy he is. Isn't it interesting that this guy who murdered a little girl, they were pleading for mercy, but as soon as he insulted them with just a flip of his finger, they turned on him. That's classic personalization. How dare he do that to us after we're sitting here trying to save his life, and he's doing that to us? And that's what we do.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of that old expression, let that roll off your back. Often, I can see what you're saying here very clearly, that sometimes a person has a personality, a habit, may treat lots of people in a way that is not respectful. And yet when the same behavior may come up, if we're there, we take it personally. We don't say, well, that's just the way this person is. That's, I'm not going to internalize that kind of an insult. So you're ignoring, basically. Is that correct? You're simply accepting, right?
If I get anxious because my mother-in-law is opinionated and she's going to make her comments, and I'm getting to the point where just being around her sets me on edge. But I have to be, because she is my spouse's mother. All right? This is not a lady I can ignore because there's holidays, etc., and she wants to see the grandkids, etc. So, what do? Somebody will say to me, I'm sick of her remarks. I said, well, how many remarks do you think she's made? Can't count them. Well, how long have you known her? Well, since I've been married. How long is that? 22 years. So she's done this for 22 years? Yes. Well, you should be less bothered by this. What do you mean? I'm more bothered. What do you mean I should be less bothered? How long has she been doing it? Before our marriage. So, 22 plus years. Yes. It still gets to you. Well, yes. Why? Cumulative effect. If it were just 3, I could live with it, but it's 107. Then I say, here's the key to not letting somebody get to you. If they're a certain way consistently, and this is what bugs most of us about getting along with people, if they're a certain way consistently, opinionated or snarky or self-centered or heavily emotional, whatever it might be that puts us off. If they're consistently that way, their ability to upset you should get less, because this is nothing new. This is something that you've seen. I had a lady call a radio show once, and she said, I've been married 52 years, and my husband hasn't apologized one time in 52 years. Well, first thing, Peggy, I'm thinking, okay, well, I doubt that, but okay, I'm going to accept what you say. And I said, still bothers you? Oh, yes. More than it used to? Yes. Why? Because 52 years is a lot. So, well, actually, I think it should bother you less, because this is not surprising. This is what they do. In some respects, it's who they are. So once you understand who they are and what they're like, they should be losing power to upset you. It shouldn't go the other way where you're getting more and more upset. You should be getting less and less upset, because you almost get to the point where you shrug your shoulders and you say, so what else is new? But we don't do that, Peggy. We accumulate.
Yeah.
And that's part of the problem. When you got somebody in your social circle that you've got to interact with, you can't write them off. Although the therapist will tell you to do that, and that's another story.
Right. Let me,
As
Dr.
Christians,
Ray.
we can't write them off. They're not dangerous. They're not putting a gun to our head. They're not physically abusive. They're not doing something that is seriously hurtful to us. They're just obnoxious.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what are you going to do with that? Are you going to continue to take everything they say and do and just add it to your file? Or are you going to start saying, no surprise, snark remark number 108, okay.
Dr. Ray.
That, Peggy. And as that accumulation builds, we just basically say, I don't want to have anything more to do with you because I'm sick of the way you are.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Ray, let me reintroduce you to the audience if they've just joined us. In case you didn't recognize his voice, it's so well known. Dr. Ray Guarendi, Catholic psychologist, author, and speaker, is our guest today. And his books, over 20 books, they're available on drray.com. drray.com. You can find him on social media, Facebook and Instagram. He is just so well known to our EWTN audience, and I'm so glad that he's with us today. Dr. Ray, though, I guess I'm thinking as we're talking, we've got about 10 minutes left in our show. I want to make sure that it is, I guess my question, we've been, to update the audience, talking about people who get under our skin, people who are consistently snarky or just difficult to be around because of their attitude, negative things that they say, and so forth. People that we're close to in our family, for instance. And we've let all these things accumulate over the years sometimes, and they keep upsetting us more and more. And when what you're saying, Dr. Ray, is that they should be losing their power to upset us. They should be losing their power over us because we know they're not going to change. And but I'm thinking these people it seems to me what we've been saying up to this point is, in a sense, we ignore those comments. We try not to take them personally. We understand that this is just the way this person is. And yet you just shared about a wife, I think she said, of 52 years, and her husband has behaved this way for 52 years. So I'm thinking, can we just continue to tolerate this within our families, particularly if it's such a close relationship as the spouse? Or a mother-in-law maybe who even comes to live with us in her old age. How can aren't we also challenged or called to try to bring about a more positive relationship, to in some way remedy or heal something that may be causing this? I don't know. Do we just have to ignore? Is that the only thing we can do?
Okay, let me clarify. I am not saying ignore.
Okay.
I'm saying much more.
Okay.
Saying don't let it get to you.
Okay.
Change your whole attitude toward it. You know, if you say something snarky to me and I just say, I'll just ignore it. I'll just ignore it. I won't think about it. I'll just ignore it. That's not going to work. That is not going to work. You have got to defang that stuff. You've got to say it doesn't have the ability to distress me because I know what the person's like. So that's the first thing. You're not just ignoring it.
Okay.
Now, the second thing, and this kind of relates to what you just asked. You say, okay, well, aren't we obliged to kind of try to straighten out a situation? Yes, we are. And I always tell people, you have an obligation to look at yourself, to say to yourself, am I the easiest person to get along with? My mother-in-law seems to get along with other people. Why not me? All right? So you need to really look in. We don't look in. We look at the other person and we say, they're just difficult. They're just difficult. Well, okay, maybe they think you're difficult. So we owe it to ourselves to really look hard at ourselves. Good, Ray. Spouses will come into my office. And to hear them describe the other person, Peggy, you wouldn't think these people live in separate houses. You think they live on separate planets. Okay, their description of what the other person is like and the other person's description of what they're like are miles apart. Okay? So the first thing is, you got to look at yourself. Second thing is, and I think this is at the root of an awful lot of this, Peggy. We have an attitude of, I don't deserve that. Well, says who? Says who? You follow a sinless Savior who never sinned against anybody. And they killed him. So who do you think you are when somebody says something or does something that you don't deserve? What, are you so special? You can say, I don't like what they did. It's frustrating what they did. I got that. What they did is nasty. I got that. But I don't deserve that. That's what creates the real intense reaction. Somebody said something to me on the radio once. They said, my mother says things that really, really hurt me. And I said, how's that? And she said, well, she just accuses me of things that aren't true. She says things that she knows is going to get to me. I said, well, why do they hurt you? Well, she's not supposed to say those things. Well, she did. But she's not supposed to. Mothers aren't supposed to be like that. Your mother is. Your mother's like that. Well, it just hurts. And this is where I think I upset her, because somebody called in later to dispute me. I said, the degree that it hurts is up to you. You don't automatically have to have that level of hurt just because she says or does something. But she's manipulative. Okay, I understand that. But how much that manipulation hurts you is within your decision. Oh, come on, I can't just flip a switch and turn off my emotions. You're absolutely right, you can't do that. But you can work on it. Rather than going through the same template every time, which is, she hurts me, another remark hurts me, she hurts me, why does she keep doing this, she hurts me. You start to change your template, which is, yeah, that's pretty nasty, but I'm not going to dwell on it for 3 days, that's for sure. See, we don't do that, Peggy. We just get locked into this same rehearsal, and it just keeps going. Mm-hmm. You know, I have relatives who have done things that I believe that if I wasn't a Christian, the relationship would have been severed. I would have just said, look, you live your life, I'll live my life, and let's just go on, okay? Mm-hmm. But I can't do that. I'm called as a Christian not to do that.
So, Dr. Ray, we've only got 3 minutes left in the program. I want to make sure I understand, as a Christian then, of course, we can work on our attitude and not let this hurt us as much, certainly, or dwell on it. But is there any way that, I mean, are we simply ignoring that unchristian attitude from the other person and saying, well, God will take care of them in the next world?
No, because what happens is, and there's a positive to this, Peggy.
Okay.
When you don't let people get to you, you're nicer to be around. When you're nicer to be around, there's less likelihood they're going to keep doing what they do. If your mother-in-law knows you really don't like her, that's the way it is, you know, you just don't like the woman. Well, why is she going to try hard to be better around you? Why should she? It's like St. Teresa Little Flower said they had a lady in the convent that just irritated the heck out of her, and St. Teresa said, I'm just going to treat her as nice as I can possibly treat her. And one day the woman came to St. Teresa and said, why do you like me so much? Like that. Here's one other point, lest people misunderstand. Common objection is this: I don't want to be a doormat. You're not a doormat. A doormat is someone who just simply absorbs it and feels miserable but never says anything about it. You've said things about it, and it doesn't work. See, that's the difference, Peggy. Most people will say, well, aren't you supposed to clear the air? Yes, you can try. But most of the time when somebody's difficult, clearing the air didn't work. It's who they are. It's their personality. They're not going to say, oh, well, thank you. That makes it so clear now. I'm glad you brought that up. I do say snarky things. Well, I'm going to work on that in the future. That doesn't happen.
Right.
And if it did, they wouldn't be like that to begin with. So, that said, you're not a doormat when people don't get to you. You're a doormat when they do get to you because you put your emotions in their hands.
Wow, but that's beautiful what you said, that perfect example from Saint Therese of Lisieux. I remember reading that in her writings, and how amazing that was, that by deciding she was being treated like a doormat, we might say, but not really, by this woman, another woman in the order. And when she just became as loving as she could, that woman totally changed her attitude, and her behavior. That's a beautiful example, Dr. Ray. Unfortunately, this is the end of our program, but I love what you've helped us to understand, and I bet your book, How to Get Along with Almost Everybody, would be a great follow-up. Is that correct? Is that the book that we should get to help us understand this even more?
It's got a boatload of ideas in there, Peggy, on how to get along with people that you think are just impossible to get along with.
Well, thank you, Dr. Ray. It's been wonderful having you on the show. Everyone needs to look at drray.com, look at all your wonderful materials there. And I understand if we order the book on your website, you personally sign all the books that we get on the website, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Dr. Ray. Dr. Ray's available. You can find him on Facebook, Instagram, and please listen to him on EWTN. And you've been listening now to the Family Sanctuary on St. Gabriel Radio, and I'm your host, Peggy Hartshorn. To find this program again, listen to Dr. Ray. You can find him at stgabrielradio.com, choose podcasts, and then the Family Sanctuary. And we're broadcast at 4 o'clock on Saturdays and 2 o'clock on Sundays, right here on St. Gabriel. So join us again to strengthen our families and make them sanctuaries of life as God intends.
Family Sanctuary is a production of listener-supported St. Gabriel Catholic Radio, AM 820. Archives of Family Sanctuary with Peggy Hartshorn are available at stgabrielradio.com.
Veni,